Good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to KBC Channel 1 on this Monday morning. It is Sports Check on the 6th of March 2023. We'll be having conversations and this is about sport because this weekend Team Kenya will be in Dar es Salaam for the East African Under-18 and Under-20 Championships in athletics, and this is in the build-up to the African Championships for the Under-18s and the Under-20s that will be in Zambia in the month of April. We shall also be talking about beach games because on the weekend of the 18th, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya will be hosting the first Kenya Beach Games, and these beach games will be in Malindi, Kilifi County. So a lot of work has been going into that, and this is in the build-up to the beach games, the African Beach Games, the second edition of the beach games that will take place in Hammamet in Tunisia, and that will be followed in August by the World Beach Games that will be in Bali, Indonesia. And finally, it's election season when it comes to the Kenya Rugby Union. What are the ways out, and what's the way to get out of the sport politics, the extreme politics in sport, where you fight anything and everything and everyone? When it comes to that, Sasha Mutai, who wants to be KRU chairman, will be joining us at 11:15 p.m. And also in the field, we've got Bernard Okumu. He's going to be speaking to boxing coach and 2016 Olympian Benson Gisharo at the Madara Police Depot. That's where most of the national team members do train. And also from field reporters, we've got the Busia Youth Graduation Ceremony. It's happening in Busia County, in Budalangi. We've got the CPSC meeting happening in Kisumu, and later this afternoon, His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is going to be launching the affordable housing project in Starehe. And going on right now is the progress on the implementation of malaria vaccines. So that's our news outlook for today. How do you get in touch with us? It's very simple. All you need to do is to get onto our Twitter handle. It is at KBC Channel 1. Mine is at Mr. Wahome. The hashtag is Sports Check. Our sign language interpreter, she's going to be coming up on your screens shortly, is within this hour is going to be Lensa Odingo. So straight into our first conversation, and let's now, first of all, talk about the East African Under-18 and Under-20 Championships. Just a couple of weeks back, let me simply say, just 10 days back, the Nyayo National Stadium was a beehive of activity. 1,500 athletes. There were the seniors, the under-18s, and the under-20s. And the under-18s and under-20s were being selected for the East African team. Eventually, we have got 16 for the under-18s, and we have got 14 for the under-20s. To speak about that is the Athletics Kenya Youth Commission Secretary, Joseph Ilovi. Mwalimu, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Wahome.
Yes. Now, let's just start with that weekend, because I know for everyone in Athletics Kenya, I would describe it as one of the busiest weekends that was there. I won't even talk about the 28 hits in the 100 meters. That was huge. Let's talk about the under-20s and the under-18. First, let's talk about the under-18s who are in the selection process. What was the overall review from the Youth Commission?
I would say that that weekend was a beehive of activity, because for the first time we hosted a weekend meet for the seniors, and we also used the same weekend meet to select the under-18 and the under-20 athletes who are going to represent our country in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania this weekend. It was not easy because the seniors registered online, and our youth and our junior athletes registered on the day of the activity. So for the youth development subcommittee, it was not easy, but we managed because we employed some of our experienced personnel. The youth, when we talk about the youth, then of course we must talk about teachers, because the youth are in school. So we took their teachers and brought them to Nyayo Stadium. They did the registration and of course the verifying of the documents. So at the end of the day, we selected a team which is going to represent us in Tanzania on 10th and 11th this weekend. I would also say this is the first time that we did a selection of an East African activity. There before, we would only select from maybe known areas a few athletes. Like last year, we had only 10. 5 for under 18, 5 for under 20. So, and we didn't have a championship to select them. So I would say this time round, because of what is going on and what we are endeavoring to do at the end of the day, we said we want to select so that we can get a better team which is going to represent us. And of course, we also look at the phase of what is going to happen in Africa sometimes in April, because this team is going to give us the way forward. How are we well placed in which events, etc., etc.
Now, let's just go back into something that you've mentioned. Previously, it was picking sports people and then moving forward. Now, talk about this selection process and the criteria you are using, because the teachers had to bring in all these athletes, have them registered, then here you are and ready to, see that they meet particular criteria. Maybe you could also mention even that criteria in the process.
Yes, I would say the Tanzanian championship or the East African championships have very few events. For example, the under-20s, we didn't run 100 meters for women, but we did 200 meters.
Yes.
We did 400 meters. We did 1,500 meters, and we did 5,000 meters. And then there was javelin, and of course there is a relay. That relay was we have constituted a relay from the above the 200 meters and 400 meters will constitute
the 4x4.
When you go to, you can see now there are so many events which are missing.
Yes, that is.
Yes,
it's quite interesting.
Yes, that is actually the East African way of doing it. When we go to men, we had 100 meters. You see now there is 100 meters. We didn't have 200 meters, you see, but we had 400, we had 800, we had 5,000, long jump, and discus.
Actually, to mention it, there's the men's under 20 does not have the 1,500.
Yes, it was not there, and it is not us who did so, but the East African Commission decided that these are the events which are going to be done in East Africa. I cannot say where they derived that kind of a move from, but that is what they have been doing. Even last year,
yes,
it was the same way of doing things. When you go to the under 18, again you find out that there were very good events which we do very well in Kenya, but they were missing. This time round, we said, okay, because we have very many sprints in the East African fanfare.
Yes.
Then you can see the team that we selected has so many sprinters.
That is
the reason is because as in the youth development, we want to bring sprinters at par to the long, to the middle and long distance events that we do very well in the world, in Africa, etc. So that is why we have a big number of sprinters going to Tanzania this weekend. It can also be reflected again from a camp which is in France, the Miramas Club. Most of those athletes who are in Miramas, the 7 of them, most of them are sprinters. And we are saying, we want to bring sprinting events and even field events at par to the middle and long distance. So that when we come to choosing of teams, we don't only choose from 800 and above or 400 and above, etc. So that is what we are committed to do as the Youth Development Committee in Athletics Kenya.
Now, just taking a look at this, some events that are missing are the hurdles.
Yes.
The 100-meter hurdles for women, the 110 for men. Is there a way that you can have, them competing consistently rather than just training? Because we've seen, for example, Nusra Rukia growing through the ranks from when she was at the under-18 championships in 2017. 6 years later now, she should be competing, as a senior up there.
Yes, that is why I've said we have this camp in France. In
Miramas.
fact, some of our athletes who are in Miramas are handlers, and they are doing very well. We have Peter Kidhome, and he is doing very well. So we are saying, because this is a build-up for the East African
mentioned Peter Kidhome, I just remember that Kali,
Yes.
what they call him, Kito or something.
Yes. So we are saying that this is the East African activity is just a build-up to what we are going to be doing at the end of the day. I'm very sure when we come to the trials for the under-18 and the under-20 for the African Championships in Lusaka and Zambia, we shall have the handlers in, because we have them in our camps. We have about 25 approved camps in the country, and we have handlers in most of those camps who are training. So we shall bring them back to Nairobi on the 24th and the 25th of this month, when we shall do a trial. And I'm very sure we are going to get a very good team for the handlers, and even the steeplechase, which is
Actually, I was coming to that, because
1500, etc.
you can't have an East African Championship, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya now, and you don't have the 2,000 meter steeplechase for the under-18s. For you to keep them active, what's going on at the moment? Because schools are back. This kind of track and field is basically a term 2 activity.
Yes.
Term 1 is the combined events, the decathlon, heptathlon, and cross country. How are you keeping them active?
Yes, we have the camps that I've said, and of course we have our coaches who are at the ground and who are manning these athletes, and we want to trust that as Athletics Kenya, after this we shall be going around, of course, and checking on who is doing what, who is doing well, where, etc. Unfortunately, the calendar for the schools will not favor the school going, most of maybe the best students to come into the affair of Africa, because I know the secondary schools have started. They are now in their sub-counties.
Yes.
And when they will be going for their regional championships, we shall be doing a trial. That is a conflict. But we want to believe that because we have an MOU, that next year, I would say this was a teething problem because of after COVID.
Yes.
We didn't get together, formulate the calendar together with the Minister of Education, but I want to believe next year we shall formulate it that way, that the athletes will be able to compete in the secondary schools, and maybe at the end of the day come for a kind of a triangular where we have the trials at the end of the day. But for this year, it will not be possible, because when they go to their national level, the athletes who will have been chosen to represent Kenya for the African under-18 and under-20 will be competing in Zambia.
That is the term 1.
Yes, term 1.
And which athletes do you risk losing here when it comes to athletics?
Of course,
because we know, I mean, the last time we had the games was it when 2018.
2018, yes.
Yes, in Togo. So, which group of athletes do we risk losing when it comes to the competition? Is it the steeplechasers, and say up to the 5,000, or are we also looking at some of the sprinters?
I would say if the schools did not come back, we were risking to lose a lot, because our harvest from the youth department is from the schools, because I've said they are school-going children. So, of course, we have some new talent which is coming up from the coaches who are at the ground and who are teachers. They have already recruited some very good athletes in steeplechase. They have done some very good work in 1,500 meters. They have done very well in 5,000 meters. The calendar, for example, for the primary, does not include 10,000 meters. Yeah. So we would say the primaries will go up to 5,000 meters.
I think that's the
because of
that is the max for the under-18s.
Because of their age. Then the secondary schools, they were still building up. So it was like they have come for a competition to gauge where they have reached. And now that I know the coaches wrote notes on that, and I think they are correcting them down there. So when it comes to the trials of the under-18 and under-20, I'm sure we are going to get a very good team.
Now let's just pick this, something interesting that I picked up from the team that was selected. Normally at age grade level, we look at 2 athletes per discipline. But in the girls' 100 meters for the under-18 championship, you've got 3 athletes picked up.
Yes.
What was the criteria?
Yes, we picked 3 because of a reason. We have we have Sharon Mora from Kiberezi, we have Jacqueline from Machakos. Suffered a lot because she was told you'll be going to East Africa, and she kind of thought maybe my position was given to another. So when this one was discovered, we went for her. I think the Minister of Education and the Kenya Academy of Sports went for her. And when they got her from her home, she was found to be a needy child.
Yeah.
That is how she was sponsored to go to Nagena boarding this moment. She was position 3. And we wanted to give her that chance to go to Tanzania, because the the secondary schools East African championships were in Arusha, Tanzania. So this time we said, let us take this girl to Tanzania, where she was supposed to go last year, and she never went. She'll be doing 2 events. In fact, we have not put her there just to travel, but she'll be doing 2 events. One will be 100 meters, 100 by 400 meters relay. She is in the relay team for under 18, and she is also going to do the under 18 mixed relay, where we have 2 boys, 2 girls. So she will be competing in 2 events. That is why we chose 3, so that we may tell the girl it is possible that you can go to Tanzania, even if you didn't go.
Well, the opportunities that come with sport, as you can see for these youngsters, they are all there. Now, we know that Coach, you mentioned the boys' 100 meters has been excluded, but there's only one pick in the 200 meters, Duncan Kipngeno. Was the competition that stiff, or is there some gap that you may need to look at?
Yes, there is only one athlete in 200 meters in the under 18, and there is a reason that when we went to the selection, this is the only boy who did well. The others, in fact, he ran at 22 point something, while the others did at 24. And you know, 24 in 200 meters is for girls. Yes. So we thought...
Actually, 22 is quite fast. You should be competing with the seniors.
Yes.
I hardly see a 21 here.
Yes. So that is why we chose him alone. We would have chosen 2, but the others were very far much behind. That is why we did not select a second one.
Let's talk about the field events. First, I'll talk about the under 18 girls. Christine Musembi in the javelin and Jensen Ligo in the long jump.
Yes. Christine Musembi is actually going to Tanzania the second time. Last year she was in Tanzania and she's a silver medalist. We want to believe she will prove from silver to gold. Then we have Ligo. Ligo is in fact, I would say, even the academies are coming up, the private schools, because Ligo is not from the government school. She's from a private school in Nairobi, known as Premier. I would say they have done a lot.
Premier Academy down?
Yes.
Forest Road?
Yes. So it is our first time. Jensen is our first time competing in Kenya, and she was able to be #1 in the long jump. And I want to believe when she goes to Tanzania, she will come with a healthy wealth of experience to make sure that she also secures a position in the African team, which is going to be selected later this month.
Field events for boys, can't see a name.
With the field events in the under 18 boys, there was not even a field event, not even one. I've said the East African committee
excluded them.
Yeah, it is not there. Even last year, the team that we sent to Tanzania, there was no field event for the under 18 boys. So I think maybe one time we shall talk to them and tell them it is good, because they were asking why have we not been given a chance like the others. The others had been given two events each, but we selected from like in the under 18 girls.
Yes.
We selected the 2 events because they did well. When we go to the under 20, you are going to find out we selected only 1 in the under 20 women.
Yes.
Because the men field events, they could not. We also selected 1 under 20 for long jump.
For long jump.
For long jump. But under 20 men, there was also discus, but they could not measure. In the under 18, under 20 women, there was shot put, and they could not measure.
Because
so we opted not to select one.
Because you can't use tape anymore.
Yes.
So you have got to use the, what is it called? The equipment used by some.
Yes.
So what's the least they can do? May know 1 or 2 surveyors.
Yes, I want to believe if the government would provide for some good stadiums where we have gym, where we have areas where the equipment is at hand, because most of our athletes are in the rural areas, where they don't know even a shot put is like what. One time I used to train shot put, and you know what I was using? A stone. I got a stone and I made it like a shot put, and it is the one that I was using. I didn't even measure the weight. You see, that is exactly the kind of scenario in the rural areas. So I would say if the government...
So in this case where you train somebody, say, with a 5 kg shot put, but eventually they are going to compete with 7.
Yes, you see, that is now a mismanagement, because one has been trained using a lower weight than what he or she is supposed to be using at the end of the day. When we go to javelin, most of those people in the rural areas cannot afford a javelin, which is 16,000 Kenya shillings. So they will just get a small tree, make a javelin and throw it, and that is what they do. I'm saying the government can come in. We have stadiums which have been mentioned all over this country. How I wish the government would finish those stadiums, furnish them with equipment, make sure that in the stadiums there are gyms, because when it comes to shot put, when it comes to discus, when it comes to javelin, these athletes must have a gym. And those gyms should be given, the employees in the gym should also know what they are supposed to do with athletes, not just building the body alone. So I would say if the government would provide at least each region, they get a stadium which is well equipped, then we shall be going into the field events and we shall be doing very well.
Well, talking about a gym reminds me of high school. You know what they did? They pick a pipe, 2 paint cans.
That is it.
Fill them with concrete, and now that becomes your weight for everyone.
Yes.
And
yes.
As it comes to this, it means that for you, I mean, if you're going to develop some of these for the technical events, and also for the sprinters, they do need a lot of gym.
Yes.
What collaborations are there, for example, with the Ministry of Education, the Kenya Secondary School Sport Association, the Kenya Primary School Sport Association, such that the knowledge that you have is passed on to teachers and they can work with most of these athletes as they continue with their education?
Yes, I would say in the youth department we have already discussed this issue about equipment, and I want to thank my chairman, Mr. Baranaba Koril, because he is already on the run. We have also asked for money from the government, from the Ministry of Sports, and we want to believe that when it is approved, we shall go and buy this equipment. When we buy them, we shall deliver them to the camps, especially to the camps that we have already located in the...
Does they know that there is a particular way to hand over the baton in the relays?
Yes.
How much is being done?
I think it was 5,000 meters. Yeah. We selected 3 for the under 20 in Ivory Coast. So those are the guidelines. At least for the middle and long, we shall select 2 every athlete, 2 athletes. For 400 meters, because we have some very good athletes in 400 meters, like Elkana. Elkana is in Miramas, and he did a personal best in 400 meters indoor, 47.
Yes, I remember watching that.
Yes, 47. So I'm very sure in 400 meters we shall select 2 for the men and even for the women, because we still have Damaris Mutunga, who is a silver medalist for Cali, from Cali, Colombia last year, and she is doing She is training in Miramas at this moment. She has the best time in Kenya, I think, 51 point something. So she's still going to be an under 20 athlete in Lusaka. So I'm sure 400 meters handles, we shall be able to select at least two athletes. Where we may select one athlete about 200 meters, 100 meters, etc.
Now the other one I want to bring in is the relays. How do you get them working? Because African champions already in the 4x100 meters. The women's, the senior women, I mean, they've created a pace. They've set the pace all along.
Yes.
Although basically I call it team police and a friend. when it comes to
sure.
It's the truth.
It is true.
For the senior women, it's team police and a friend. But how do you then make sure that they get everything right? Because I remember in Birmingham, everyone was looking out for Team Kenya. Then changeover one just went wrong. But such that we don't have that.
Those are mistakes which are done in sports, of course, and we agree that we have.
The Americans have done it twice.
Yes. Big nations have done it. So Kenya also did it in the Commonwealth Games. I want to say that like the East African event, all the categories will have relays.
Yes.
So what we did not select relay athletes, but when we went for example, the under 18 girls, we shall have 4x1. So we have 4 girls. Who are they? We have the 3
Morangu, Yen, and Najambo.
Yes. Then there is an athlete. There are those 2 athletes in 400 meters there. They will also, one of them, and Beatrice, this is Beatrice Machuka.
Yes.
We will team up to go for the 4x1. That is how it is going to be made. When we go to the boys, we shall have the 200 meters athletes, the 200 meters athletes, the 400 meters athletes, there are 2, and 1 800 meters. That is Kelvin Kimutai. That is 4x4 because their relay is 4x4.
Yeah.
The under 18 is 4x4. So that is how we have formed the relay. When they come today, we are going to be with them here in Nairobi today and tomorrow. And we shall be leaving to Tanzania on Wednesday, on 8th. These athletes now will be coached on what they are supposed to do in handling of the baton, because it is very important. And we have sprint athletes. I mean, we have sprint coaches whom we have attached to this team. So that will be their mandate. When they come, they will be told, these are the relay people. Can you coordinate? Because we want a gold in Tanzania. When it comes to the under 20, the same. We have formed relays from the athletes whom we selected. When it comes to the seniors, of course, sometimes they select a full relay team. And
with a reserve.
With a reserve.
With reserves, actually, 2 reserves.
Yeah, with the reserves. But that one is not taken care of in the under 20s or under 18s. Even when we ran the relays in Ivory Coast, and in fact we beat everybody in 4x4 under 20. We used those athletes who were still running their own individual events, and we did very well.
Another event that's coming up is the Africa Youth Games.
Yes.
Interesting, we're going to have people from National Olympic Committee of Kenya. We've got 2 guests from the National Olympic Committee of Kenya coming to speak about, mainly about the beach games. But this is part of, you have to prepare a team for that.
Yes.
Going to Congo.
Yeah.
What's the build-up after Lusaka in April?
I would say we started even earlier than the Lusaka affair or even the East African affair, because in December we had a camp. We were asked by NOC to give 10 athletes, the under 18 athletes.
That was in Isinya.
Isinya. So we gave out a team of 10 athletes who were training there. Now, as the youth department, when NOC comes with the criteria, with the number of athletes that they want to present in Congo, we shall see whether we are going to have a trial, or we may use the East African Championship in Tanzania and the African Championships in Lusaka to get the best athletes, and then we shall present them to NOC. But that one will come after NOC tells us what is the number of athletes that they want.
Well, I will also mention this, Mwalimu. Kenya has a world champion in the under-20 in race walking. Where are we with race walking? Because we've seen, Samuel Gadimba, Emily Ngi, all performing at the highest level. Now we've got Harrison Wanyonyi, who has now moved up to the seniors, but that gap needs to be filled.
I would say we are very lucky. We are very lucky, Bwana Wahome, because last year when we were choosing the team to Kali, the boy was position 2, Dangeli. Dangeli is doing very well. In fact, in the weekend meet in Nairobi, with the seniors, he was position 3, and he is doing very well. He has done 43 point something minutes in 10,000.
Yes.
So I want to believe he could be replacing Wanyonyi very well, because he is a training partner of Gademba now as we talk.
Wow, if he's training with Gadimba, bronze medalist at the Worlds.
Yes.
What has been the response from him? Because we know if you go train, if you're taken through Gadimba's regime and style, something different comes in.
Yeah, I've been talking to him, and they are doing very well. Mr. Kariuki, the secretary in Nairobi region, is actually coaching them in Nyeri. So those two are doing very well, and I know because Ndangeli is in my jurisdiction. I know I have a boy who is going to do very well in the African Championships in Lusaka. I can be sure because I've been talking to him. I know what he's doing. I saw him during the weekend meet in Nairobi, where he did a longer distance, of course, and he was able to beat even the big names to position 3.
All right, now I know you have got 30 athletes to welcome to camp, so I know you make these requests. So I'll let you have some final word here. There is a lot of build-up towards the AK has made it deliberate that there is a plan to have more younger athletes competing for places in Team Kenya, and this is as we head to Paris 2024 and also the 2025 World Athletics Championships. What's the entire plan to ensure that there is a firm foundation such that after Budapest this year, somebody may not really know what to expect, but there is something strong coming through?
I would say, as a youth department, of course, we have a database of our athletes. Those athletes that we started, since we started the camps, we have a database and we are following them up. I can assure you that even in Budapest, we shall have youth athletes, we shall have under 20 athletes representing Kenya. That one is for sure, because I know what my smaller athletes are doing and what the seniors are doing. So what we are saying is we want these athletes to grow from one category to the other. Not that time when you saw an athlete in under 18 and you never saw him or her in under 20, or you never saw him or her in the senior category. Those days are gone, because
the progression has got to be consistent.
It must be.
We're losing what? 80% of our under 18s and under 20s.
Yes, it must, and that is why we have placed those camps, and we have mandated the coaches that we want a progression. We don't want cheats. We don't want people to cheat, maybe cheat their hench, etc. Because when you cheat your hench, automatically the mileage will come to stand, because you are not young.
Yes.
So that is why we have a database.
A doctor will catch you eventually.
Yes.
By the kind of treatment they give you.
Yes. So we have kept the documents of those athletes intact. Now we don't want any athlete to change into somebody else, but we want to see, this is Joseph Ilovi in this camp, born 2006, December 31st. He grows to the senior category. Joseph Ilovi, born 2006, December 31st, with that event on the hub. So we are saying our build-up for the youth athletes is to make sure that they compete in the youth category, they compete in the senior category, and maybe they also compete in the marathons after they are aged. When they cannot do the 10,000 meters, they grow to the marathon and they become champions of this world. So that is actually what we have done. Our database is guiding us that we have these athletes. We have 50 athletes in cricket, for example, because that is one of our camps, and the 2 or 3 have graduated to the senior. Where are they? Can we see them compete in the senior category? If we don't see them compete in the senior category, then we have a question mark. Where are these athletes? Then we are saying we are following. We shall go to cricket, ask about these athletes because they were there. If they transfer to another place, we shall also face it and see what are they doing. Because we don't want our athletes to finish running when they are young. We don't also want our young athletes to go to doping. That is why we are following them up. So we are saying our camps are safe. Our youth camps are safe. And we want the athletes to be safe even when they go to the senior category. That kind of teaching that somebody can enhance is or running by taking a substance, we are saying no. That is wrong. And we want our athletes to compete clean and win clean. That is it. So we are following those athletes and seeing what they are doing. And maybe what kind of a program are they doing? Is it a program that is going to see them maybe better their performance, or it is a program which is going to make them maybe lose their performance? So we are following up that kind of a system in the youth department.
All right. Thank you very much, Mwalimu. He's Joseph Lovi. He is the secretary of the AK Youth Development Commission, and they are preparing for the East African Under-18 and Under-20 Championships. They will be taking place from the 9th to the 11th. That's this weekend, basically, in Dar es Salaam at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. So they will be competing. I hope they're ready for the Dar es Salaam.
They are ready.
They are ready.
They are ready.
Let me just go to Mombasa at the moment. I don't want to go to Dar es Salaam. It can be extremely hot at this point.
Yeah.
So there they are. The athletes are reporting to camp today. They travel on Wednesday, and well, we wish you and your contingent Godspeed.
Thank you.
And the medals, please.
Thank you.
Just do what you have always done.
We shall keep you updated.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll be taking a fast break right now, and when we come back, we'll be moving into a conversation about playing on sand. There are the Africa Beach Games in June in Tunisia. We also have got the World Beach Games in Indonesia in August. But before that, in just about 12 days' time, it's going to be the Kenyan Beach Games, the first ever organized by the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. We've got the programs officer from the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, Susan Thiambo, and the technical director of the Kenya Beach Games, John Ogola, coming up next.
Listen up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engine.
How do we hear? How do we see? What makes up the air we breathe?
Let's go.
It's technology.
Let's go. Let's grow.
Science, you and me.
Let's go.
We're learning every day.
Let's ask, let's learn, and let's love. And don't forget to make it fun.
No need. I'll take it.
Come on. Let me help my little sister. I've got it. Drapu. You're shy?
Nothing to be shy about.
Bo, but you are now.
My best friend is pretty much part of my family. She would never do anything to betray me.
I told you before, I'll buy you the same one. But I couldn't find it. Finally, I had time.
I also brought you some breakfast, your favorite egg roll, and also a sandwich.
No need. I never eat breakfast. May I have some? Jenny bought this food. Ask her.
Ilayska umada.
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
To have clean, accessible drinking water across the county.
The hustle of everyday Kenyans is encouraged and rewarded.
Operationalizing Kerugoya Level 5 Hospital.
A functioning school feeding program.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
The percentage of A's in 2021 were more than those ones in 2022.
We will not politicize security, because if we do so, we endanger the country.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
One of the best ways of accelerating national development is through collaboration with county governments.
The Scorecard, coming soon on KBC Channel 1.
Manze aliniambia ati jana aliota na mimi. Kaya za bunuasi.
Ukumbuki uko na therapy session leo?
Ma'am, hiyo ni afternoon. Kuna place nafaa kuwa sahihi.
You don't abandon a child just because mistakes zimefanyika. Heaven knows you wouldn't be having a brother by now.
Unaweza nsakia kakitu, mazimi nadai kujitoa.
Suna zile biashara ingine ilivamiwa na masanse.
Melissa, nimekuwa nikikutafuta. Sikai. Nimekuja tu kukuambia. Najua mwenye alikuwa baba yako.
Ndio nataka niwachie hapa nikichome.
Kutoka mafuta ipate bei, atuchomangi chai. Hiyo mambo rolo wa chanka.
Siwezi kubali.
Siku ile.
Chai iko na chumvi kwa nini?
Sasa mimi mtu ataniletea uchuachi.
Ushanizoea na mimi sitaki unizoe. Chukua hizi vitu zako zote utumbukize. Sitaki.
Najua uko na masikio na uko na macho, hata kama umefunga unaniona. Nimekupika 7 hours.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 6th day of March 2026, and having conversations about sport and also keeping up with what's happening all around. Just a quick recap of our news that we're taking a look at. Busia Youth Graduation Ceremony, and we've got Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba there. That's happening today. The CPSC meeting in Kisumu, and His Excellency the President commissioning the affordable housing project at Tarehe constituency that is scheduled for this afternoon, and KBC Channel 1 will be bringing you that event live. And also, and Kamche Medza, a reporter, is going to be giving us a report later on the malaria vaccine progress. This is an event that is organized by the State Department for Health and that event is taking place in Nairobi. Two more sporting conversations we're going to have. The final one is all about the Kenya Rugby Union, an aspirant speaking about what's expected of them and the manifesto, plus the African Beach Games and some, recent developments, very pleasant, some that, can leave you boggled. Actually, even I at times get boggled by what happened, and federations themselves having to rethink their plans. And to have that conversation in studio with me, on my immediate left, we've got John Ogola. He is the technical director of the Kenya Beach Games that will be taking place in Kilifi County on the 18th and the 19th of March. It's the first edition of the Games as they build up towards the African Beach Games in Tunisia, in Hammamet in June, and also the World Beach Games in Bali, Indonesia in August. On the far left, Susan Yambo, she's a program officer at the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'll start with you, Susan. And, some of the recent developments. Now, let me just start with the Athletes Commission being set up. We know that on the NOC board, we've got Helen Obiri and Humphrey Kayange, but the inclusion of athletes from across all disciplines, a background on the setting up of this commission and the way they will liaise as they represent people who want to don the Team Kenya jerseys.
Thank you. So the Athletes Commission generally is the athlete's voice in the board, as you've said. And what we have been having is elected athletes representative. That is Humphrey Kayange and Helen Obiri. So they've been the representatives. But the Athletes Commission now brings together representatives from almost all sports. So we have ball sports, we have indoor sports, we have individual sports, racket sports. So that inclusion, so that you can have a voice from all cadres of members of NOC. So the Athletes Commission, we expect that they are going to be the ones bringing to the NOC board the representation of the athletes' voices. As we always say ourselves that we are an athlete-centered organization, and so the athletes' voice is very important. So even the forum that we had last week, bringing together about 200 athletes from 30 plus members and recognized federations of NOCK, that's very important to just hear what are the athletes saying, what are they feeling, because we are doing things on this side, but what are they receiving, what are they feeling? So that's very important for us, and we expect that moving forward now with the Athletes Commission now in place, that it's going to get even better for us in terms of giving services to the athletes.
How much has it been modeled according to the Global Athletes Commission?
Of course, we take best practices. The IOC has an Athletes Commission, a representative again from all continents, where our athletes representative Humphrey Kayange was also inducted into. We have the African one. The African one, at the moment it was nomination, and this month actually we have an African Athletes Commission Forum that's going to take place in Algeria, and where we are going to send our representatives, and that's where again they are going to kind of elect the African Athletes Commission. So we have just taken the best practice from the International Olympic Committee, and we have modeled it here, because the idea is representation first of all, and giving them the power and the mandate to actually represent the athletes.
Yes, and yes, you've been listening. That's Susan Atiambo. She's a programs officer at NOC, the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. Susan, one more thing I'd like to touch. We know Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba. He put in place what we'd say was we got to know the first five members of the Team Kenya leadership, and we have seen that they have been engaging with federations. I always get to see that on my mail a lot. So what's been, the response of the qualified federations for when working with Chef de Mission, Shadrach Maluki?
So far, so good, because definitely in constituting a team like that, you need the buy-in of the national federations, because they are really the ones that are going to, they're going to receive the services. So it's very important to just also listen to the national federations and make sure that we have a team that they can actually work with, and they can be confident in, and therefore the selection of the lead team of the Paris 2024 Olympics was very deliberate and thought out, and I believe we have the best team, headed of course by our Deputy President Shadrach Maluki, the CEO being the Secretary General of Tennis Kenya, Wanjiru Mbugua, the General Team Manager from Athletics Kenya, and that is also strategic, because I think we all know,
Salu.
Yes, athletics always has the biggest team to the Olympics. So very strategic just in that regard as well. The Chief Medical Officer, Dr. James Ondiege from Kenya Rugby Union. So the team, we are confident that it was very well constituted, and so far we have had some engagements with national federations, very, very well received, and now the conversations have moved now from this is the team to now what are we working towards, what are we mutually working on, so that we can have the best prepared teams towards Paris 2024. Of course, the qualifiers have started, so that's very important, and we're having regular interactions with the federations just to check where are we, what do we need to do so that we don't lose anything on the pathway, because we are now very, very, very close to the Paris 2024 Olympics, so we should be very organized from now on.
Well, thank you, Susan. I know I'll be coming back to you even as we speak about this, and I'd like to come to you, Bonagola, Technical Director of the Kenya Beach Games. And 2019, Kenya was at the Beach Games. They won medals in beach volleyball. There was a bronze there. I think there was Yego, Kibet, the doubles tennis team did win. Yeah. They also won medals there. And looking back from 2019, what were the things picked out such that now, on the 18th and the 19th, everyone will be in Malindi? All those who are in beach sports. What has been that progression 4 years later?
Thank you so much for having me here, or rather having us here. Yeah, looking at the last beach games in Cape Verde, we learned a few lessons. One of the lessons is that we need to prepare our teams early. We need to give our federations an ample time to recruit, train, and prepare them well in advance. So that's being one of the objectives of having these games, just to give the opportunity to the federations to develop their aspects of the beach games and be able to recruit, be able to recruit the best and prepare them well in advance, so that when they go out there, they're in a better position to perform. Yeah.
So let's just come with this. How you are trying to reach out to national federations to develop beach versions of the sport. Okay, I'll start with one that everyone would like to see bring the gold finally. Beach volleyball. They've been to the Olympics, they've been to the Commonwealth Games, they've been to the, they've played at world level, and they've had an active circuit. Let's start with them. And from actually what you saw in Birmingham last year.
Basically, the World Beach program, the World Beach Games has a program. So they list all the sports that are to participate. So based on that, we reach out and ask the federations to, prepare well in advance. And if you talk about the beach volleyball, it's been there for long. Actually, it has been one of our strengths. So at the moment, there are major leagues running, both the normal and the beach. So we believe since 2019, they've grown, and we will have the best teams. In fact, what we are doing is to have only the best, maybe 6 or 8 teams participate in the games, and the beach games, because we don't want to just have anybody.
A festival.
Yeah, we're looking for quality. Yeah, we're looking for quality, impact, and or rather, of course, something that is economically viable. Yeah.
Let's now, talking about this, small number of federations that you're looking at. Volleyball will definitely come top of the list. Which are the other federations coming up through?
We have other 13 more. We have beach tennis, we have wrestling, we have baseball, we have swimming, open swimming, we have aquathlon, we have...
I think karate have one.
There's karate, yes, kata. We also want to have a beach marathon. And which other one, Susan?
Beach sprint rowing.
Yes, rowing, there's surfing.
Sailing.
Yeah, sailing. Yeah. And 3x3 basketball.
So that's interesting, and especially 3x3 basketball. Oh yeah, medal too. Yeah, doing very well about that. When preparing these federations for this and for them to understand, this is what you're going to do. I mean, from going down to Clifford, looking out at the facilities, what is it that you've seen about the venue and the works being done around it?
The venue is perfect. We were there last weekend. We went round and, of course, looked at the various... Actually, we had started looking at the various venues, but we found out that Clifford has one of the best. In terms of capacity, they have the capacity. In terms of layout, they will manage the 13 events very comfortably.
How big is a beachfront? Because considering that you're playing at places where tides happen.
The place that we've chosen is like about maybe a kilometer, but the entire beachfront, we're told, is about around 260 kilometers.
That is the Cliffy County.
Yes. But where we'll be playing is just a kilometer. Yeah, and then it's on a park, so it's not all the sports will be by the beach. Some will be, a little bit out, but within the park. Yeah.
So here it is, as the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, the federations that have responded. For example, I can easily guess who is going to be coming for beach volleyball when it comes to the men and the women. What are the numbers you're looking at for these major disciplines? If I was to start with volleyball and tennis, I think in 3x3 basketball, where Kenya had medal last.
Yeah, what we've done is we're not restricting numbers, but we're restricting quality. So we've asked federations to give us their best. The best meaning that we have a 2-day tournament, actually 1.5 days tournament. So we want like the best 8, number 1 to 8 who are best, and they can come up with a schedule that will be done between Saturday and Sunday 10 o'clock. Yeah, so that's why we are restricting the numbers, but based on quality. Yeah, so of course, beach volleyball is big. They have a vibrant league, but now it will be up to the federation to give us the best that they think can give them the quality of athletes that they would want to send to the games.
Looking at beach games, one of the things that comes easily is if you live by the seaside, then this is one of what we would call sustainable sport.
Yeah.
You don't have crazy infrastructure investment. I'm thinking even of beach handball. All you just need is the beach. You're forever barefoot and 2 goals.
Yes.
How much is being done to encourage them to move away from the traditional indoor format or whatever we've got now, such that they pick up this and diversify?
As you know, we're not really encouraging them to leave the indoor version to the beach version, but to develop that version. Sure. As you know, we have 3 major global games, the Olympics, Summer Olympic, then we have the Winter Games, and then now the beach game is coming. This would be the 2nd edition. So it's of course based on climate. Yeah, so we are not just saying that stop this and go to this, but develop this version so that
actually we have the advantage of having basically one climate except July. One weather pattern except July.
It's only winter that we, ice that we don't have. Yeah, but beach, we have the beach. The Summer Olympics, we have the talk of the high altitude where we basically do good. So we're just encouraging the versions of these games, so that we can have more people participate, can have quality, And of course, being by the beach is also another way of promoting sports tourism.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
And Susan, let me talk about a sport, because you'd have the Mwa Kenya, having been at that place before you joined, having been at Tennis Kenya before, you joined the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. When Ibrahim goes out there and opted, this beach tennis, how different is it from what you would see at Nairobi Club or anybody playing at the African Championships or the African Games?
First of all, it really looks quite simple, but playing on sand is not easy. But the advantage is if you've already been practicing the sport in the traditional version, then you already have the skills. So you just need probably the technical skills to know how to move on sand. Movement is usually the biggest challenge. And of course, the equipment is a bit different, adapted to whatever. But it's...
How different is it from the famous yellow tennis ball? For example, if we were to start with that.
It's lighter. The balls are lighter. The rackets are lighter. So that's the major difference. Because of course you're playing on the air instead of playing on the field. So that's one of the major. But if you have the skills, for instance, to volley and to smash and that kind of thing, so you already have the skills, so you just need to adapt it to the beach. So in fact, globally what's happening is, so I'll just use the tennis example. So you have the elite players, they find probably that the normal tennis is quite difficult. So what do? They say they go to be professional in beach. And we have a couple of them who've done that and have done that successfully, and they're excelling so much in that. It's quite interesting, and that's what we would want to encourage people. You could probably be a professional, like we have seen with our volleyball girls.
Yes.
There are some who have just said, I am moving to beach, and they've become pros in that. And that's also something that we'd like to encourage. And also to encourage, because they are shorter versions, the beach games are shorter versions, they are more vibrant, they are more interesting. And so we hope that this can interest young people, because now interesting young people in sports is quite a task. So if
you give them a console, you have them. But we want them out there.
Yes, so it can interest young people so that they pick up the sport. It's exciting, it's interesting, it's short, it's it's a good thing. It's fun, yes.
And there is
beach games are more festive. When you think of the beach, you think festive. So that's the idea that we are trying to build even with our beach games, so that we encourage, that we actually promote these games. And probably what Mr. Gola has not mentioned is we might be extending this to the Lake Victoria region beach, just to remind us that the beach is not only at the coast. We have the beach at the lake region, and we can build on the sports there, and also to build on traditional sports like we are asking Kilifi what are local sports that we can probably include in the program. The same thing that we'll be doing in the Western region. What are the local sports that we can include so that we don't forget, we are forgetting our traditional sports? What are these sports that we can actually include? Like now we'll have freestyle soccer, a very interesting concept of the game. So something like that.
All right, and let me just come to you, because I know you've spoken with, because she's mentioned the county government of Kilifi, and they have come into, they've come into support. What is it you picked from your conversations with Governor Gideon Mungaro? Especially when it comes to the interest around sport, and also knowing that Malindi is tourist destination proper.
Yeah, they're very excited about it, and they feel honored to be the first host of the games. And of course, they'll also use the event to reach out to the youth and other part of the communities that they would want to get to. They have an issue of, I think, delinquency, and then there's this issue of, they mentioned that there's this issue of young people killing old people.
Okay, that's right.
So they'll use this event as part of their outreach program. So they're really excited, looking forward to it. They're committed to work with us and ensure that this event succeeds.
Actually, it's very interesting you mentioned, about that. And how would you then have, federations really understand the Olympism values, such that, people that where there are problems, say, some could be about drug abuse, others could be, what is it called? The total lack of respect and honor amongst peers or different age groups. How are you helping them get that?
Yeah, sports is wide, and sports can be used to accomplish very many things. It's not only that, the participation in the field. Yeah, outside that field, there are other issues that sports can tackle, especially like bringing the crowds in, that issue of respect, that issue of competition, and of course tourism coming as economic value for that. So the fact that people can come together and work as a team, participate competitively, enjoy after that, and of course it gives that channel where other issues can be conveyed to the wider masses, those who are not participating in the field. Yeah, so it's something that is, of course, building up. Yeah, and as we take the sports to the beach, it's now out of the traditional stadium setup. More of public engagement will be achieved. Yeah.
After this game, after the Kenya Games, the target is the African Games in Tunisia. That will be 3 months from now. So at least those teams that can represent the country, compete, will have been picked. What's the plan to ensure that there is a very good build-up towards the Africa Beach Games and the criteria now for the World Beach Games in Indonesia?
Of course, after this, when the teams shall have been selected, as usual, we reach out to the government, and of course, the government will come in to support. But with our resources now, we always start supporting the federations, just to make them be ready and prepared for the games. Of course, we have programs for the coaches, we have programs for athletes, and of course, technical programs that just ensure that the people who have been selected are monitored and are training as they should. We have an elite commission that will be working, going around to the areas of training just to ensure that the programs are running. We don't want to have a team that, of course, after being selected and they go back and sit and wait to travel.
Wait for the stamp on the passport.
Yes. So
Tunisia.
So we have mechanisms to monitor and, of course, support them to be able to give the best when it comes to performance.
Well, one of the ways that the National Olympic Committee of Kenya does is through the support through the solidarity scholarships. We know there are those who have already started receiving their scholarships, but there are some who come from the unique sports. Sabrina Zimada is one, Brian took in table tennis. So those in the odd sports, how's this program developing as you pick out athletes every Olympic cycle has happened, Susan?
So what IOC has given us a chance for now is to do some bespoke programs. So there is what they offer, and there is what we have a need. So unique needs as an NOC, as Africa, as Asia, because everyone has unique needs. And so they have given us that that leeway that we can approach when we have these particular needs and see how we can negotiate how they can support us. So that's how we have been able to support some of the programs that are ideally not on the world programs of the Olympic Solidarity. And so I think you mentioned Sabrina, you mentioned Brian is in the Olympic Solidarity program. So in the Olympic Solidarity program we have 11 athletes in individual sports. If I can name them is table tennis, triathlon, taekwondo, rowing, tennis. We have athletics. Who am I forgetting? Canoeing. Instead of rowing, we have shooting. So these athletes are in the Solidarity program. Then we have another one called the Association of National Olympic Committees of Africa. Now that's a bit tough because that one is specifically for Africa to make podium finishes at the Olympic Games. And so even the criteria given to us is very strict. For someone to get into that scholarship, they have to be a top 10 in the world. And so you can imagine if you start counting the sports, how many athletes.
Okay, I will tell you, it is very easy for me to point out who the top 10s are in the world. They all come mainly from one sport.
Yeah. Precisely. So that's the challenge. It's good, but it's also a challenge that we can only get athletics into that program. So now we have 7 athletes, all from athletics in that program, and the idea is to give them the monthly scholarship so that they can podium in the Olympics. Then we have now what we call continental or NOC activities. And so here is where now we can present a case. Like now we are presenting a case. We have an athlete who missed out on the scholarship in fencing, Alexander Ndoro, because she came later when we have exhausted these scholarships. So now that's what we are trying to negotiate with them, that we have this athlete, very good. In fact, if she was there before when we were doing the scholarships, she would have probably gotten the Anoka, because she's top 10 in the world.
Yes, right. Yeah.
And beyond that now is NOC trying to build its own scholarship program. And before here we had the athletics, and you dwelled a lot on the sprinters, and that's one area that we have also discovered that we can do very well, and we just need to support them a little. So NOC is actually building its own scholarship, so that what we cannot get from our partners, probably we can build as an NOC so that we can support them, so that we can, like for instance the sprinters, we can support them to do very well, and we believe that they can. So that's something that we are doing. In terms of the winter, like Sabrina, we approach Olympic Solidarity. We have this unique athlete And they've been able to give us scholarship. In the last quadrennial we did, in this quadrennial, which has just started this, because the Winter Olympics is in 2026, they are all linked to the Olympic Games. So we should be able to also get her some support. It's limited. It's not enough, especially for the winter athletes. We have very many, not very many, but we have a couple of youngsters coming up. So far we have about 5 who've approached us. They're already in competition, in snowboard, in cross-country skiing, in alpine skiing, and we just need to support them to supplement what they're already doing so that they can represent us. And so that's something we are also looking at, some funds through Olympic Solidarity on how we can support them, and we believe we can. But more than that, we are talking to the Ministry of Sports because what we can provide is limited. They need a lot more. So we are trying to talk to the Ministry of Sports in terms of policy. Can they support individual athletes? Yeah, because like the value that we are getting from Sabrina alone, being a black girl in a white spot
in alpine skiing,
yes, it's very huge. So it merits us to support. Yeah.
All right. Hapo kwa Sasha Ndolo, kuna namba ya back, he's also a fencer, so
oh.
Pigeni simu, I'll help you. We'll help. We Kenyans know how to reach out in various ways. Also, Bwana Ogola, we come to a close. Like we say, for 18th and the 19th, like I would, if I was to call you, ningesema weka pin. It's precise location for the games.
It's called Buntwani Beach in Malindi town. Yeah. Of course, we'll have
public space.
Yeah, it's a public space. It's accessible. Of course, we'll have some security around it, but basically, it's an open beach for everyone. Working with the security agents, we'll have to secure it a little bit, but it's at the Buntwani Beach in Malindi town.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Susan Atiambo, Programs Officer, National Olympic Committee of Kenya. And we have got John Ogola, who is the Technical Director for the Kenya Beach Games taking place in Malindi on the 18th and the 19th of March. That is the weekend after this. So that's where all the action will be, all building up to the African Beach Games in Tunisia and the World Beach Games in Indonesia. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A quick break, and when we get back, let's talk about rugby in Kenya with elections slated for about, 18 days from now. Sasha Mutai is good for the presidency. Let's hear what his views are on running the Kenya Rugby Union.
What a start to the second half. Lisandro Martinez is the defender. Salah's turned in one way, then the other. Gakpo! Oh, incredible goal! Steps inside the challenge. It's a very good cutout. It's going to come to Salah! Oh, what a way to go level with Robbie Fowler at the top of Liverpool's Premier League goal-scoring charts. Comes to Henderson. And Nunez! Fowler sits atop the charts now. Now, the true icon of Liverpool's goal scorer.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 6th day of March 2023. And conversations around sport continue. And this time around, what about somebody who's been there but wants to go back there? He's been vice chair of the Kenya Rugby Union. This time around, he wants to go for the presidency of the union. And this is in the elections, come by elections that have been mandated by the Sports Dispute Tribunal. We'll be speaking with Sasha Mutai, and our sign language interpreter within this hour is Lucy Mwaura. Sasha, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for you have sat on the board of the Kenya Rugby Union before, then eventually left. Taking a look at those, that gap and what you wanted to achieve, what would you say you were able to actualize in your first time on the board?
Thank you very much. I was director on the board, and I was in charge of sevens from 2006 to 2010. And then I came in 2012 to 2014 as a vice chairman. And then even that period, I was the chairman of Safari Sevens. So we made great strides at the beginning from 2006 on the sevens front. You'll remember that's the first time Kenya qualified for Rugby World Cup semi-final in 2009 in Dubai. And in 2013, we also qualified again for the semi-final of the World Cup in Moscow. We grew the team together with the late Benjamin Ayimba, with the team of Oscar Osir, Tuti, and that is when we actually started professionalizing the sport. We got in the money, we got in the sponsors. I was key in negotiating for those. And with a good team behind me, we managed to actualize these dreams of ours and aspirations, and we did very well. Got big sponsorships in, and eventually we even could command a sponsorship of $2 million. That's when players could go home with $6,000 at the end of the month. Now that's not happening now, and that's why I want to come back in as chairman and grow with this team and grow the sport. Unfortunately, partners and sponsors have left rugby because of various issues. And there's a bit of wrangling and everything in the sport. You can see we've even gone to tribunals, but that's not the face of the sport. We have passionate people running games, the teams, and that is what we have. Luckily, we have the human resource. Right now, we don't have the financial resources. I'm looking at coming in and bringing in those financial resources and to get Kenya back on track.
And one of the things that everyone wants to ask is where the board gives the policy direction, and then you have got the secretariat running the sports. Yeah. How do you intend to break that?
As I said, the human resource is good. We have good men and women, young men and women working the secretariat and also running teams, club boards and all that. And it's, against all this adversity of lack of financial resources. Some are even homeless. They don't have grounds to play on, including the KRU, And I said, again, 2019, we need to secure a property at Kasarani and build our stadium. Now, there's been a lot of interference by the board on running of, day-to-day matters. And you'll see even directors have been blamed for interfering with selections, team selections. That is not the mandate of board members. Once you hire a coach, head coach, the coaching team have a mandate to run the team. What the board should do is get those resources. So what we are looking at is having a good team at the board, and of course working in harmony with the people on the ground, the secretariat, and also with teams and with the national squads management. Yeah.
All right, Sasha Mutai, he wants to be chairman of the Kenya Rugby Union. Sasha, we'll be coming back to you. But right now, let's go over to the Mathare Police Depot. And we've got 2016 Olympian Benson Gisharo. He is now a boxing coach. We have seen him at the novices championships and also intermediate championships. And Bernard Okumu is there with him. Bernard Okumu, you could give us just an update of how these athletes are training at the Mathare Depot as we speak to Benson Gisharo.
Daniel Wahome, of course, we are live at the Mathare Depot where the national women's boxing team is busy preparing for the forthcoming World Boxing Championship, which will be happening in India. That's from 15th of this month through to the 25th of this month, of course, this being March. And of course, among what's at stake for at this particular championship, it will be the ticket for the 2024 Olympic Games. Of course, there's been kind of debate between IBA and IOC, the two bodies that are mandated, are charged with deciding who goes to the Olympics, or the formula or the modalities of qualifying for the Olympics. But of course, in this particular team, Kenya is expected to send a total of 11 boxers to the India Championship, to the World Women's Boxing Championship. And among the 11 boxers, there will be 3 Olympians and also 4 debutants. Among the 3 Olympians, of course, there will be Elizabeth Andiego, who has been at the Olympics, and as well as she'll be representing Kenya at this particular championship. She'll also be captaining the side. Maybe to just speak to her about how the team is prepared and also the aspirations and what they are targeting at that particular championship. Karibu sana Elizabeth Andiego. How is the training? How has it been for you so far in the training, the preparation?
The last 4 weeks we've been camping here, training. So everyone has picked up, working on their weaknesses, and so far we're just polishing up as we wait towards the end of the week. Yeah.
Yes, and of course you are one of the experienced boxers in the team, you know, and there are other 4 debutants in this particular squad. What would you make about the composition of that squad, the quality that's there? What do they carry? They're carrying the hopes of the nation.
I can say the mixture is good. We have the experience. We also give what we have through the experience we had in the international level. We just motivate them, and they know they can also do it. So it's all about hard work and determination, and keeping the spirit of winning. Yeah. So just work hard, and I know we will win. Yeah.
I mean, and what will be the greatest motivation in this championship for the Kenyan team?
The motivation is just we are going there for the medal. We are going to do our best, and we are prepared. So we are ready for the task. Yeah.
Ready for the task indeed. And maybe Elizabeth, would you talk about what you're going for in this tournament as an individual boxer?
So far as a boxer, I can say all we want is glory, and the glory is medal. So I'm just working towards to get there. Just work out each opponent at a time to get into the podium finish. That is my goal for now. Yeah.
Yes, and of course Elizabeth Andiego, the captain of the women's team that will be participating at the World Women's Boxing Championship. 11 boxers, remember, will be heading to these particular games where Olympic tickets could be at stake as well if IOC and IBAC come to agreement. Reporting for Sports Check from Mathare Depot in Nairobi, I'm Bernardo Kumu.
Bernardo Kumu at the Mathare Depot. He was speaking with Elizabeth Andiego, who's a member of the national women's boxing team, and they're preparing for the world championships that are coming up. And you can see the activity is there, and it's a lot. The punches are heavy, and everyone is sweating. It doesn't matter. Thank you very much, Bernardo Kumu. He is giving us the update as we see everyone going through their paces, strength and conditioning, striking the pads, going through that power racks, and also there are those painful sparring sessions. We shall be getting more from him in our later bulletins. We continue with our conversation now, and this is about the KRE elections with Sasha Mutai. Wants to be chair of the union, and he's spoken about, bringing in the professionalism to the sport, what happened then, and keeping the sponsors. But there is also something that comes with it, the risk of success, where you want to make the most of it, but you forget the grassroots. Some gap somehow comes up to that. What's the whole plan such that you, there is one, I know most of the rugby in Kenya is secondary school based. Yeah. This transition to club rugby and competitive. So to ensure, that this is different. Someone comes from Kakamega and another one comes, say, from Shimolatewa. If they're to be called up for an under 20 out trial, they're basically thinking the same.
Yeah, that's very right. We're looking at getting rugby in primary schools as a core sport. And to get that skill level, you have to have started playing rugby when you're like 6-7 years old. If you look at countries like New Zealand, South Africa, Australia, France, the kids start playing rugby, tag rugby, where it's not tackling, but you're getting in the skills. So guys can pass to the left, to the right, and they can see they start having the rugby brain, start developing the game because they're in touch with it from a very young age. So we're looking at having it as a core sport, and also now getting financing for that from different corporates. Right now, in 2017, Income Tax Act in Kenya now has a provision from that time for deducting any sports sponsorships can be deducted from companies' revenues. So
it's tax relief.
It's a tax
allowable.
So So in Kenya we have the laws, but this has not been used because also of the framework. And we're looking at. I'm actually working with a company called Viva Africa, who are tax and legal consultants, and to come up with to actually exploit this. This is the way we're going to get money into the sport. This is also aligned with the Kenya Kwanza Sporting Manifesto, page 39. You'll have a look at it about public-private partnerships. So we're looking at having the children play rugby from a young age. Also having, before when we in the 80s and 70s, there was what is called Colts rugby, and those are weight categories. So parents can let the kids play because there's no 100 kilogram boy and one who is 40 kilograms. It's now according to weights, and now that's where the skill comes in. So we're looking at improving that.
Actually, let me come to that, because you're talking about funding, and this actually would benefit any federation, not just the Kenya Rugby Union.
Yes.
This tax allowable, there's a clause, I know it's been mentioned severally, that clause is there. But what is that last one door that needs to be opened?
Yeah, so it says, if I quote, it's I'm trying to remember it. It's the CS of sport has to prove that prior to the money being sent for sports, and there has to be paperwork. So basically, it's coming up with a framework. We are working with this company, Viva Africa, to actualize this.
That's Ngarwa.
No. This is Cairo Thuo. He sits on many boards as well, and he's a rugby fan, and we were in school together. So I'm using the technical abilities of the people out there in private sector to come into sport, because big companies are sitting on, if you look at ICA and the rest, who are some of our clients, sit on 350 billion shillings reserves. Now, they've usually been putting that into government paper, which is now has very low returns. So we're looking at getting that money into sport. So there is money. When people say there's no money, there is a lot of money in this country, and now we just have to provide this opportunity.
So that having been said, let's talk about now, working for grassroots development.
Yes.
Without grassroots development, one of the reasons why South Africa is a monster is because they have it.
Yes.
It's known. Eventually go to Stellenbosch. New Zealand have theirs. Australia have theirs. France, for their football, they've always had Clairefontaine, and for French rugby, they have Makusa, where Harambee Stars went.
Yes.
So what's the whole idea to have this development system?
So what we also have to develop is the sporting infrastructure. The government, I think what we can work in partnership with the government, and I put it even in my manifesto, is to secure the property in Kasarani, where there's a master plan of over 1,000 acres. And every sporting federation in Kenya is supposed to have a piece of property there. Now, also working with this, with the Income Tax Act, this is how we're going to develop the infrastructure. My profession, I'm a quantity surveyor. I've been involved in some of the largest projects in the region. So I've thought of how to do this. And if you get companies like Bamburi and Devki Steel, those resources, if say Bamburi puts in 300 million shillings worth of concrete, now it's the paperwork that has to be passed by the CS of sport. So we'll have to have quantity surveyors involved. So I'm also looking at bringing in our professionals. It's win-win each way. But with that we can develop infrastructure also in the counties. So what I'm looking at is the county governments to give leases, probably at peppercorn, basically very low rates, to clubs around. If you look at, as I was saying, Kenya Rugby Union is homeless. Also clubs like Mwamba. Mwamba is the first indigenous rugby club in Kenya. Right now they're negotiating for a lease with Kenya Forestry Services to have their home ground at City Park. Before there were railways, and now there's a development there the terminus. So they are basically homeless now and negotiating for that. So we are going to look as the Kenya Rugby Union, when I'm in as the chairman with the board, to negotiate with county governments to get in leases, and now partner up with private companies to develop this. Again, on the matter of somebody from Shimolatewa and one from Kakamega coming in, we need to have a national team coach for Kenya who is permanent. You know, it's not a part-time job. He has to work full-time. So, of course, when he's not training the national team, he has to develop players across the board so that we have one style of play, and that goes down all the way to the schools.
So where do you bring in a director of rugby in that case?
Director
a technical director,
is a technical director who will coordinate all these activities. If you look at like South Africa, technical director is Rasi. So that is his one-on-one with the coaching. So they set up the standard, and if Kenya's style is this, from a 7-year-old boy all the way to a national team player coming in, will have been exposed to the same standard. So you don't have to do too much. I've seen when Jerome Pavota came in when I was on the board, I remember the first training session, he had to get our rugby, and these are the top players in Kenya. He had to actually teach them how to pass to the right, which is a difficult thing if at that age, because bad habits stick, you know. It's like a golf swing. You start wrong.
I mean, you've played it yourself.
Yes.
And if you were to do it, I mean, if you were to try and use your hand motion, passing, if you're a right-handed person,
passing to the
left comes naturally. If you're a lefty, to the right comes naturally. How then do you adopt it?
Yeah, so you get someone to adopt it? When it comes to this level of rugby, everything is like microseconds. So if you you have to stop to turn, and you see it also with some of our players, they have to stop and turn to throw a long pass. They can't pass to the right. This will be sorted out if you start playing rugby at 6 or 7 years old. I was privileged, and many of us were privileged to start playing rugby in Form 1, so when we were like 14 years old, but that's also late. And you've seen at that level our players starting rugby, some have even started in university, and end up playing for a national team and have the skills and talent. So one thing that we're not lacking in Kenya is talent. We have to now harness that.
Now, let me come to this, because there's transition point. Secondary schools, I mean, if you pick it up and it runs, the biggest challenge then is transitioning. Is that between club, university, post-secondary school? What's the whole story to put this right?
Well, we have a lot of players who've played high school who drop off because there are not enough clubs. Right now, there are quite a number of clubs that have come up. If you look at, I think there's just about 55 in the nationwide, then you have 12 and 12. Championship and Kenya Cup, and each Kenya Cup sides have an Eric Shirley side, and also now women. So what we're looking at is also now having all teams have women's teams as well. That will also come with funding, because we're looking at qualifying for 2025 Rugby World Cup with the women. The biggest opposition for Kenya is South Africa, and I'm sure once we put in the resources, we will be Africa's automatic qualifier. And also now for the 2027 Rugby World Cup for men, the work starts now. So we need to now get a full sponsor. I'm actually now calling them partners, not sponsorship.
Actually, that's a new language.
It's partnership, because you're actually giving them a value that is quantifiable. So that's what I'm looking at doing. And of course, with my big networks in business and in rugby world, I shall bring them to the board. And also looking at working with a good team. This is about teamwork. It's not just about Sasha Mutai, who is the chairman. It's the whole team that has to work together.
Now, let me come to this. There are three things. I mean, three things that I would like you to handle. So I'll go with the first. That partnership with Western Province in South Africa. How do you optimize it? Because they've got some of the best out there.
I mean, the current world champions are South Africa, the Springboks. Right now, you can see even our government and the South African government are now working together. You don't even require a visa. So yes, from this year you can fly. You just jump on a plane and go to South Africa. So we have to use our friends out there in the world. So rugby is very technical, and South Africa are one of the best right now. And we have this partnership that we started when I came into the board, actually from 2007. And many clubs in Kenya now, like you see KCB and all that, have used this partnership also to their benefit. So we're looking at
Cabras reaching out for their coaches.
Also their coaches and also some of their players. So the good thing is some of these clubs have actually harnessed that partnership and have grown it, and I'm looking at actually growing it.
All right.
Yeah.
The other one, and I'll put these two together.
Yeah.
The SDT said, Kenya Rugby Union, clean up your constitution.
Yeah.
Align it to the Sports Act, align it to the Constitution of Kenya. That's a quick one.
Yeah.
Number two, everybody's chances are there. If there are three candidates for chairmanship, everyone's opportunities.
Yeah.
Everyone's got 1/3 chance. If you're two, it's a half chance.
Yeah.
Which way? If it doesn't go your way, which way will you support the sport as we want?
All right. Yes, when I was even on the board, once the Sports Act came in, we were looking at aligning ourselves with the Sports Act, but we never got there. When we left, the next office really didn't push it, and now it's come to the fore. They've just, complied in fits and spurts, but not completely. Probably because of the politics, when they look at the political ramifications of being aligned. I think some people are scared. But this game is for everybody.
It's policy, it's not politics,
yes,
it's a law.
Yes, so they have to. They have to, and when I come into office, God willing, with the team, we shall comply. And for me, I've always been in the sport, whether I was in or outside of the board. I assist teams every weekend when they come to us for assistance to play a game. Now, that's the one thing that, as I was saying before, we have the human resource. The club chairman, secretaries, and everybody involved in running clubs and the coaches play games every weekend and are serious, where sometimes there are no referees. Referees have not been paid. Right now, here they've been paid, talking to the chairman of KRA. They'll only be paid for the first 2 games of this season. Right now, we're in the finals. Next week, this coming weekend is the finals, but they've only been paid for 2 fixtures so far. So against all this adversity, clubs are showing up and playing the game, producing our players who are representing our country, making us proud. Against all adversity, I'm looking at filling this gap, bringing in the resources, and now you can see there's also the betting. Betting is big, so there's this. I think
great opportunity.
Yes, so it's all about betting, money coming in, TV. It's modern, it's money. Yeah. So there's the lottery that's coming up. So we also have to look at getting our people involved in the tax lottery in the fund for the distribution part of it. I think about 30 days ago, a committee was formed. And we're looking at, so I'm in touch with what is happening out there, and we're looking at harnessing that for the gator, for the sport.
Thank you very much, Sasha Mutahi is going for the KRU chairmanship in just about, 18 days, and let's see what board we shall have. Thank you for being with us. My name is Daniel Wahome. Coming up next on Kurunzi Mashinani is Khalid Dulai, followed by Tambrini. Our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Maura. Have a good day.
No need, I'll take it.
Come on, let me help my little sister. I've got it. Drop. You're shy?
Nothing to be shy about.
Oh, but you are now.
My best friend is pretty much part of my family. She would never do anything to betray me.
I told you before, I'll buy you the same one. But I couldn't find it. Finally, I had time.
I also brought you some breakfast, your favorite egg roll, and also a sandwich.
No need. I never eat breakfast. May I have some? Jenny bought this food. Ask her.
Ndio nataka niwachie hapa nikichome.
Kutoka mafuta ipande bei, atuchomangi chai. Hiyo mambo rolo wa shanka.
Siwezi kubali.
Siku ile.
Hii chai iko na chumvi kwa nini?
Sasa mimi mtu ataniletea uchuachi.
Ushanizoea na mimi sitaki unizoe. Chukua hizi vitu zako zote utumbukize. Sitaki.
Najua uko na masikio na uko na macho hata kama umefunga unaniona. Nimekupika 7 hours.